Hello and welcome to the vlog update for May 2024. As you can see, once again, I am coming to you from a very beautiful little patch of greenery in Melbourne, Australia, and just doing what I can to enjoy the day while also ticking off some to-do list items, right? It's always a plus. So, there's been a lot happening, as there always is, of course, over the past month. The vocal covers that I had mentioned in my previous blog update, those have all gone ahead according to plan, and was such an interesting learning experience, especially the latest one, Aurora Everything Matters, which I just uploaded, or rather just scheduled to go live a couple of days ago. And that was a really tricky one. Not only was it in English and French, so the sort of end outro bit is in French, but the rest of the song is in English. But also, it made use of some kind of vocal register gymnastics that I personally found quite challenging, particularly trying to maintain at least a reasonable level of pitch precision throughout the whole song, sort of bouncing in between different vocal registers and also trying to sort of keep it all in flow. And I actually, the best take that I managed to capture, I actually messed up the lyrics in in the second verse because I was just so focused so much on trying to hit the correct notes, or at least reasonable facsimiles of the correct notes. And I just kind of went into autopilot with the lyrics. But I think unless you actually know the song and know that those are the wrong lyrics, it actually kind of flows really reasonably well. So there's that. But yeah, one thing that it brought to me was that I don't tend to sing a lot in sort of head voice or falsetto, but I am a soprano, and so it's really underscored to me, that song, that there's this huge portion of my vocal range that I really don't visit very often. And even though, in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, I should probably keep developing my head voice and my falsetto and blah, 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 because I've never really gravitated towards my higher end. I've never really liked high pitched singing. I've never really prioritized it in my own vocal practice as much as I possibly could, especially being a soprano. And, with the result of it being quite evident in the Aurora vocal cover practice video, I'm quite breathy up there, and that isn't ideal. And I have the physical capacity to have a much stronger sort of presence in my upper ranges, but even though I've worked on it a little bit, it's never been a focus. And maybe now I am kind of realizing that it still is good to have those options, even if I don't want to use those reaches in my own music that I write very often. And who knows, maybe that's just how I'm feeling now, and maybe in a couple of years I will start to want to write material that makes use of my higher ends. But anyway, I'm kind of wondering. I've decided that I do want to try to find more tracks to cover that make use of my higher end. For example, there's this one that I've earmarked and been practicing for a little while now. Imogen Heap, Can't Take It In. It's from the Narnia soundtrack, and in that she goes all the way up to G flat 5, which will be by far the farthest up I have gone in any of these vocal covers. And I had actually been planning to do that one towards the end of this month, maybe the end of May, but I think if I sit on it a little bit longer, I can do a better job because, even though I was reasonably happy with how I did with the Aurora cover, I never even heard the song until just probably a handful of weeks ago when a friend of mine, Chris, hi Chris, suggested that I should check it out, and I instantly just fell in love with that track, and I was like, hell yes. How have I not explored this artist's work before? So I'm definitely going to be, playing around with more Aurora stuff as well in future. But anyway, I'm really rambly today. Apologies. That one I went all the way up to. It should have been an E flat 5, but it was actually an E5. Because, like I said, my precision up there isn't the greatest, but that's still quite high. And the Imogen Heap song, Can't Take It In, it's very beautiful, very ethereal. And the bits, she does this sort of really floaty angelic sort of D flat, E flat, G flat 5 at a few points in that song, and I would love to just get some more practice in on that and be able to hit those precisely because it could sound really amazing. Um, and I want to be able to do that justice. So I'll probably be practicing that one for a little while longer and maybe not rush trying to get it out this month. So maybe give it another month or two and we'll see. But anyway, in the meantime, I've got next week Van Morrison Into the Mystic, which kind of a long running, I don't know if it's a joke, but my cousin Sarah and I, we both love Van Morrison Into the Mystic, and she's kind of observed that everyone in our family, every sovereign that seems to exist who's had a chat with Sarah about the song for one reason or another, everybody in my family apparently loves it and just sort of belts it out whenever it comes on. So I think it could have grounds to actually be the Sovereign Family theme song if we ever decided that that was something we wanted to do. So funny. And it is an epic song. So that's coming up on the 17th of May. And then after that, I've got another USS Ubiquitous Synergy Seeker piece. This one's spoken word. So I'll be covering a spoken word, very sort of mystical, esoteric one that I think is very in tune with the times. And I don't think I've done a proper spoken word cover previously, excuse me, in this vlog. So that'll be fun. And then after that, what do I have after that? Oh yeah, that was when I was contemplating doing the Image and Heap one, but I don't think I will. I think I'll swap that out for a still a song that leverages the sort of higher half, I guess we'll say, of my vocal range. That'll be Birthday Massacre Falling Down, which is a kind of retro synth, really cool song from a Toronto-based band, another Toronto-based band, Birthday Massacre. So that will be the end of the month. And anyway, after that, I'm still a little bit on the fence about how to order things, but we'll see. In other news, I am, of course, still working on the album project STARSEEDS Wanted, Enquire Within. And excitingly, another person has approached me wanting to do a collaboration for it, which is very exciting. Elizabeth from ASC, Australian Songwriters Conference, back when we were both volunteering for that. I caught up with her in Melbourne just last weekend. Yeah, last weekend. Wow, time flies. And she mentioned that she'd be up for doing a collaboration with her on her beloved ukulele, which is going to be really cool because I've never really written a song that will have a sort of ukulele lead or ukulele in it at all. So that'll be pretty good. And that album project, really, Starseeds Wanted, Inquire Within, it's progressing in a really wonderful and interesting way that's challenging me a lot to um, try to move in flow. So I have always been a planner, a strategizer. I like to schedule things, in case you hadn't noticed. Um, and with Starseeds Wanted Inquire Within, I am really wanting to use it as a way to learn how to be more in flow with just what happens, things as they evolve in all kinds of different ways and different levels, and that is also certainly coming home to me in the way that work in progress with it is unfolding. So I've got these collaborations happening, of course, and also the solo pieces that I have kind of earmarked for inclusion on it. And things are progressing, but also sort of, well, everything is progressing, but in unexpected ways sometimes. So for example, um the Wave track that I and Em were working on, or we're going to be working on together, it's kind of hit a bit of a pause because I actually haven't heard from Em in a few weeks, and I've been trying to get in touch with her, and I hope she's okay. I understand that the is possibly a medical thing unfolding that I actually don't know any details about whatsoever. It's just the last time that I managed to get some words exchanged with her, um, she was, yeah, experiencing some stuff which is really, I hope is resolving well. Um, but I don't actually know where that is sitting now. And if M is still wanting to continue with a track together, or if we're going to maybe be putting that on hold for a while, which is totally understandable. And I absolutely hope she is feeling better and back in with everything as she feels. Yeah, sending heaps of love and health wishes to M. And of course, that uncertainty, it's kind of an example, really, a sort of just an articulation of the unexpectedness of life, and how, as much as we can plan for things, as much as we try to organize and set up contingency um, measures, not a whole lot is ultimately within our control. So yeah, it's a very interesting space to be in for a serial planner. Other things that the album project has sort of brought to my attention are, well, I've mentioned in the past that I want to explore a bit with polyrhythms in this one, and layering, and kind of build basically my understanding of production as well. So there's a whole lot of different areas. I really want it to be a sort of exploration. And so, a couple of things in line with that. I really do want to use this as an opportunity to develop my understanding of production and how to, I suppose, work within my own ideas in a way that will, I suppose, best support what I have in my head, which ultimately that is songwriting, that is music creation, right? So it's just continuing to upskill. But as part of that, I also understand that I need to try to identify opportunities to sort of improve the tool set that I'm working with as well. So I have decided that I would like to get a drum machine, and I am currently trying to figure out, and I'm very open to suggestions and recommendations about what a good beginner drum machine would be. Um, Basically, I'd like something that can just plug and play with my laptop door, and that's probably my main kind of consideration right now, is some sort of USB based plug and play kind of drum machine that I can use to start playing around with rhythms and layering rhythms within arrangements. And so, if anyone has any recommendations for a good starter drum machine, please let me know. Pop it into the comments if you could, or message me on some other platform or email or whatever. Because I am definitely keen to figure out what kind of drum machine to get. And I think probably, yeah, within the next couple of months, I'd like to make that happen, because I think that will make my plans for Starseeds Wanted Enquire within a lot smoother, and make it a lot easier for me to play with the ideas that I've got kind of percolating in the back of my head. So I guess that is my one sort of request, I guess, for this month's vlog update. If you do know of any good drum machines, or know someone who might have some good suggestions, I'd love to hear about it, because that, I think, is my next sort of investment for kit that I will want to be playing with. But anyway, I have rambled plenty long enough. I'm just going to check my list to make sure I have covered everything, which I think I have. So thank you once again for joining me this month, and I hope you have enjoyed this little tour of this beautiful green scenery behind me and what's going on in my little old head. I'll see you next month.